Hello, welcome to 1000 Words, Stories on the Way. My name is Matthew Clark. Thanks for stopping by the podcast today. For the next few weeks, I'll be sharing a series of podcast episodes where I'm introducing you to the essay writers who contributed to my latest book and album called Where the River Goes, Meditations on the Return of Jesus Christ in Story and Song. That album is out now on all the streaming platforms, and you can get the book on Amazon. Actually, you can even get the audiobook on some platforms, including Spotify. If you also want to go back to prior podcast seasons, I've done this same series with the first two books, so you can find little samples of all the chapters and introductions to the essayists if you want to go back to that. But I'm looking forward to introducing all of these writers to you over the next few weeks. For this project, each of these writers chose a song from the album, and they wrote an essay in response. And I didn't ask them to critique or analyze the song. That's not really what they were doing. I asked them to enter into a conversation with the song that they chose and the overall story behind the album, which in this third book of the Well trilogy is all about Jesus' defeat of death and our ultimate hope for this coming resurrection and new creation. If you'd like to hear more about the project and how it all came together, I've had more in-depth conversations about it on a few podcasts that you can check out. In fact, I made a playlist on my YouTube channel with all of the podcast episodes that I've been on, as well as speaking engagements at various conferences. You can just go to youtube.com/MatthewClarkNet. Matthew Clark Net is all one word. And you can look for that playlist. And I'll also put a link in the show notes. So to kick us off this week, I'll start with the first essayist for Book 3 of the Well trilogy, Stephen Beebe. Stephen wrote a great opening chapter in response to the first song on Where the River Goes called How Long? And as you can guess, it's a song about sort of these groaning prayers of God's world and God's people as we wait for Jesus to come and heal all of this hurt and redeem everything that's been so painfully damaged by 1,000 different kinds of death. I was so excited when Stephen agreed to write for this project. I remember meeting him after a concert I played at the C.S. Lewis Foundation. There was an event near Houston at a place called Camp Allen, and he pulled me aside after this concert, and he just spoke words of such encouragement to me. He was so deeply kind and sincere that everything he said just, it just kind of sunk down into my soul. It was such a great gift from the Lord. And that's been my experience of Stephen ever since. He was an absolute joy to work with on this project, and I'm amazed at the way he opened his heart to write and to share about his own longing for Jesus to come and make all things new. So let me share a little bit about Stephen from his bio in the book. Stephen A. Beebe, Ph.D., is Regents and University Distinguished Professor Emeritus at Texas State University. He's been a visiting scholar at both Oxford University and Cambridge University, an author or co-author of 15 books, with editions totaling more than 85 books, used at hundreds of universities throughout the world, including Russian, Chinese, Canadian, and international editions, by several million students. He is also the author or co-author of 75 articles or chapters emphasizing communication skill development. He received Texas State's highest awards for teaching, research, and service. He served as president of the National Communication Association, and he was named Outstanding Communication Professor in America by the National Speakers Association. His book, C.S. Lewis and the Craft of Communication, was the basis for selection as Scholar of the Year by the Religious Communication Association. So, as you can see, Stephen is an accomplished scholar and just one of the most present and kind-hearted men that I've met. And I'm so grateful for his contribution to the Well Trilogy. So, without further ado, I'll share a reading from Stephen Beebe's chapter in Where the River Goes. It's entitled, Longing for Home.
I didn't know if he would live through the night. Jason, a beloved family friend whom I've known all his life, was in the grip of heroin addiction. When he called, I was in the middle of a busy afternoon, filled with teaching, meetings, and presiding over annual Communication Week celebrations at Texas State University, where I served as chair of the Department of Communication Studies. I will never forget the terror and fear in his voice. I'm not sure where I am right now. Leaders of a drug cartel are coming for me. I owe them money. And then he sobbed, if I don't pay them by tonight, they said they'll kill me. They knew where he lived, so he couldn't return to his apartment. I don't have a car. I have no money. They're looking for me. Please help, he pleaded. He had been in and out of drug treatment centers and halfway houses for the past 20 years. It was bad. His parents had twice planned his funeral in the heartbreaking expectation that he wouldn't survive. Over those 20 years, when he had no one else to turn to, he would call me. Sometimes in the early morning hours, sometimes interrupting a workday. His panicked requests made me feel that I'd been thrust into the middle of a tragic opera. Yes, I said haltingly, realizing the gravity of the situation. I'll help. We decided on a pickup point in Austin, Texas, where I checked him into a hotel and wondered again if he would survive the night. There were many other days when I answered his emergency calls, but I had not yet learned how to avoid enabling his disease of addiction, nor had I always drawn on the support I needed to remind me that even during dark nights of fear and uncertainty, there was hope. As I reflected on the many times he reached out, and I simply didn't know what to do or how to help him, I asked myself, how long? How long can he survive this crisis? How long can or should I keep trying to help? Blessedly, he made it through that night, but his battle with addiction was far from over. I've always taken comfort in the Good Friday sermon, "It's Friday, but Sunday's comin'." It's a stirring message of being confronted with profound Friday fear and anxiety, the bleak uncertainty of Saturday, with a joyous Sunday conclusion. Originally preached by S.M. Lockridge, pastor of Calvary Baptist Church in San Diego, it was brought to a larger audience by Tony Campolo. In my own experience of frightening how long episodes, I have too often kept my focus on my Friday fear rather than the Sunday promise of victory. This sermon's message resonates with me and many others because it juxtaposes two common life experiences, suffering and hope, confronting profound fear and anxiety with the promise of the resurrection. Perhaps you are experiencing anxiety and dread on behalf of a loved one. But not all how long moments are as dramatic as the crisis call I received from Jason. Some are trivial, being interminably placed on hold by your internet company with music unfit for even those cloistered in an elevator. Whether inconsequential or a life hangs on the balance emergency, you too have undoubtedly voiced the centuries-old lament, how long? In the middle of our suffering, we may feel alone in our pain, or unique in our brokenness, but we are in good company. Feeling alone depressed and estranged from others, is a centuries-old human experience. As Solomon reminds us, there is nothing new under the sun. Sometimes all we can do is impatiently suffer. As Ron Rolheiser aptly paraphrases the 3rd chapter of Lamentations, sometimes all you can do is put your mouth to the dust and wait. It's Friday. In his unforgettable sermon, Lockridge passionately reminds us of the pain and anguish of Good Friday, called Sorrowful Friday by some. It was Friday and Mary was crying her eyes out. The disciples were running in every direction like sheep without a shepherd. But that was Friday. And Sunday's coming. It was Friday. The cynics were looking at the world and saying, "As things have been, so they shall be. You can't change anything in the world. You can't change anything." But those cynics didn't know that it was only Friday. Sunday's coming. As we endure our mouthful of dust, we are nonetheless promised that there will come a time when all will be well. But we don't know when our Sunday will arrive. When I waited through the night, hoping Jason would still be alive in the morning, I experienced palpable fear. I didn't know how that drama would end. Like the captive Israelites living in ancient Babylon, we know what it is like to live with the heartache and anxiety of a Friday world. As Christians, however, we've been told how our life opera ends. We are not cast in a tragic plot, but one of triumph. But the presence of pain often drowns out any promise of hope. Pain is loud. We not only have our personal periods of distress and dread, but we can readily see evidence of a Friday world in the ultra-high-definition 4K surround sound news pictures that are daily beamed into our homes or instantly accessible on our phones and tablets. And like the movie Groundhog Day, the images of war, famine, mass murder, earthquakes, wildfires, and heartbroken people seem to be the same images we saw yesterday. But it's not just the newsworthy tribulations that arouse our compassion. We each experience life-depressing personal trials, disappointments, separation, and sadness. More than 60% of adults in the United States report feeling chronically lonely, with ages 18 to 22 feeling the loneliest. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy proclaimed that persistent loneliness was as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It may appear that pain, despair, and suffering have triumphed. Our lives may feel like Mr. Tumnus's description of a white witch-dominated Narnia. It's always winter, but never Christmas. A few months after Jason's panicked call, he asked for help getting his weekly dose of methadone needed to mitigate his cravings. His car had been stolen or, more than likely, exchanged for drugs. When I picked him up, I was repulsed by the putrid smells and disarray of his apartment, and disappointed that his disheveled appearance confirmed he was still in the grip of addiction. After I took him to get his medication, I asked where he would like to go next, and after a long pause, coupled with a vacuous stare, he muttered, "I don't know." After another long pause, he said, "I guess take me back to my place." I feared that if I took him home, his heroin-fueled addiction would continue, but I simply didn't know what else to do. My premonitions proved accurate. He wasn't ready for sobriety. How long, O Lord? Several millennia ago, the author of Psalm 13 also asked, "How long, O Lord?" Taking his plight personally, he continued, "Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" Psalm 13:1. As we experience today's pain, we may forget that Jesus promised that there will be suffering. He said, "I tell you the truth, you will weep and mourn over what is going to happen to me." Theologian Henry Nouwen reminds us, to wait patiently, therefore, means to allow our weeping and wailing to become the purifying preparation by which we are made ready to receive the joy that is promised to us. But in the moment of my own fear for Jason's life, these words seemed mere words. The emotional angst overwhelmed any efforts to reflect on lofty religious promises. That is, however, what we are asked to do. Wait. We are called to have patience. The word patience has its origin in the Latin word patientia, which means to endure suffering. Although Jesus told his disciples that they must wait a little while for him to return to them, John 16:16, he provided no precise schedule. How long is a little while? How long is the Saturday between Friday's anguish and Sunday's glory? Like impatient children on a cross-country car trip, we repeatedly ask, are we there yet? After posing the how long question, Psalm 13 moves from a lament to an instructional hymn of hope. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me. Amid our struggle, we long to see a sliver of light under the door that obscures our view. The sight of a veil offers promise that there is beauty behind it. From the psalmist, we learn not only to pray for relief from our present concerns, but to also trust in God's everlasting love. As the lyrics to How Long remind us, waiting can be accompanied by a song soaked in blood and tears. Years of waiting make us weary. We sing a song that burns in our bones like a fever. We likely feel helpless, even foolish, as we carve boats in the desert when the weather forecast offers no hope of rain.
Okay, Stephen, thank you for your wonderful essay. And now I'd like to share the song that Stephen chose to respond to. It's the opening song of the third album of the Well trilogy, and it's called How Long?
There's nothing new beneath the sun. There is no song that ain't been sung, but there is one that won't go on forever. That song is written in blood and tears that beat down through these weary years. A song that burns down in our bones like a fever. How long, oh Lord, till we hang our broken harps up by the river? How long, oh Lord, till the world that went so wrong is delivered? Your bride has waited patiently kept watch these many centuries. Your family trees and roots down deep to listen. These branches thirst for righteousness, for springs to burst the firmament, to wash this withered riverbed with music. How long, oh Lord, do we hang our broken harps up by the river? How long, oh Lord, till the world that went so wrong is delivered? Count me among the fools out carving little boats in the middle of the desert, who still believes in you, and every word you spoke keeps an eye out for the weather. How long, oh Lord, till the labor pain of song gives way to wonder? How long, oh Lord, till the day you tear the veil of sky asunder?
Okay, friends, if you haven't gotten your copy of the Well Trilogy, what are you waiting for? You can order them from Amazon today. And check your favorite audiobook supplier as well if you'd like to listen to them. If you enjoy the books or the albums or this podcast, please do share them with someone. Leave a review and subscribe. And lastly, would you consider becoming a patron partner? Patronage is the main way that I'm able to continue doing this work of making things that make room for people to meet Jesus. If that sounds like something you'd like to support, I'd love to have your help and your prayers. Just visit matthewclark.net/partner for more information and to become a monthly supporter. But that's all for today. Please do tune in next week for a reading from chapter 2 of Where the River Goes, featuring my good friend Rachel Mosley. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time on 1000 Words, Stories on the Way.